In Gwenpool #1 from Marvel Comics, a darker, deadlier Gwenpool steps onto the battlefield. But is she a friend? Is she a foe? Or is she something in between? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. I don't know what anybody expected. I don't know that I expected anything different, but Gwenpool #1 is exactly what you think it's going to be. It is a weirdly, annoyingly obnoxious comic. From the real-world cultural references, Light Gwenpool, we'll call her, constantly spouts off that nobody around her understands, to the odd appearance of Dark Gwenpool for no apparent reason other than she just shows up. This comic screams, "Aren't I great and funny because I'm so quirky? Look at me, look at me, look at me!" It's like stage kids turned up to 11. But let's not beat up on it just yet until we talk about some of the positives. And there's one or two depending on your point of view and your tastes as a comic reader. If you're a fan of Gwenpool, this comic is most assuredly for you, and pretty much only for you. Kevin Scott, who's the writer, cranks the character's personality up to 11,000 or something, throws in a bunch of adjacent characters like Kate Bishop and Jeff the Landshark, and since Gwenpool fans are likely fans of those same characters, that makes sense. And then they send everybody running off on this zany, manic, pixie dream girl toned adventure. It's dark, but it's nutty at the same time. Tonally, it's probably consistent with Gwenpool, so if that's what you love, that's what you get. So really, the benefit or the positives of this issue are also the negatives depending on your point of view. If you are not a fan of Gwenpool's zany, manic, pixie dream girl type of hijinks, her unending litany of real-world reference jokes that nobody around her understands, so everybody's constantly saying, "Huh? What? What are you talking about? I don't understand." Imagine half the comic is that response. The constant fourth wall breaks, which are well above and beyond anything that Deadpool would normally give you, and the paper-thin plot, you are in for a bad time. This comic exemplifies, in my opinion, everything annoying and obnoxious about Marvel from the last decade, amplified times 10. I mean, this is just like silly and weird and annoying and obnoxious and just why? There's no why to it. It's a comic that exists simply for the sake of existing, and I'm not sure anybody really is going to be in love with that unless you are truly a die-hard Gwenpool fan. So let's switch gears and talk about the highlight of the issue, not just the positives, but the best thing about it, which is Stefano Nasi's art. He turns in a banger of an issue. The plot, if you could even call it that, it heavily relies on action, lots of chases, and constant movement to keep the story going. It's fair to say this comic is an art showcase more than anything else, meant to depict Dark Gwenpool, as we'll call her, the character you see on the cover, and Light Gwenpool, the traditional white and pink version in action. So Nessie keeps your eyeballs entertained, even if the story doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Alright, if you're still hanging in and you want to know about the plot, here we go. Gwenpool #1 begins with a brief mission prologue as a group of agents from some group we don't know why or how infiltrate Weapon X Facility Beta. The agents are quickly mowed down by a darker, edgier version of Gwenpool as a readiness test for her. So she didn't really see them as a challenge, but she sees it as an opportunity to prove her capabilities. Then Dark Gwenpool's handler, who we don't quite see other than a small cross-section of his face, it could be Professor X, not quite sure, sends her off to her next test, to take down a trio of Deathlocks. Meanwhile, elsewhere, we're not quite sure if it's a different Earth or the same Earth in a different location. It's never explained, and I don't think it matters anyway. We catch up with Spider-Man, Kate Bishop, and Jeff the Landshark. Yeah, that's right. And what we'll call Light Gwenpool, who is traditional Gwenpool with the white and pink costume, doing battle with Fin Fang Foom in the heart of New York City. Light Gwenpool leaps into action, but is quickly crushed under the dragon's heel. But, of course, she's not dead. She actually slipped into the white space between panels of the comic, waited for another panel to show up that had a wide shot that showed the dragon much smaller, and then she re-enters the comic where she would look like a giant next to the dragon. Then she promptly kicks Fin Fang Foom into orbit. Jeff the Landshark freaks out because this is more power or more capability than Light Gwenpool's ever shown before, and he runs away. Spider-Man remains behind a little bit to help citizens caught in the rubble of the fight, while Light Gwenpool and Kate go after Jeff. As they chase around the back alleys and side roads, the heroes notice the tone and violence of the comic has gotten darker, so there's a lot more of that fourth wall breaking. Kate loses Light Gwenpool down in an alley, but when she catches up, Light Gwenpool is in the middle of a fight with 3 Deathlocks. Spider-Man eventually joins the fight, but the skirmish doesn't end until Dark Gwenpool shows up suddenly and just takes out the Deathlocks with a gunshot to the head. When she's unmasked, everyone is surprised to see that Dark Gwenpool is indeed Gwen Stacy and not Gwendolyn Poole. Final thoughts: what do we think about Gwenpool number 1? It's a Gwenpool comic made exclusively for the hardest of die-hard Gwenpool fans. Kevin Scott's paper-thin plot takes a backseat to constant cultural references and fourth-wall-breaking hijinks to give Gwenpool fans everything they could want. Plus, Stefano Nassi's action-heavy art is better than it has any right to be, given the lack of depth in the script. Therefore, Gwenpool number 1 from Marvel Comics earns a 5.5 out of 10. You're probably saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, it sounds like you hated it. Why are you giving it even that much of a score? The art is really great, and if you're a Gwenpool fan, if you take it from that perspective, you'll probably like this. For the rest of us, this is junk, and you shouldn't even waste your time. But that's my take. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments section. Are you a Gwenpool fan? Were you anticipating this comic? Were you hoping that it would be what you heard here, or were you hoping it would be something else? Let me know in the comments. So, thank you very much for joining, and stay tuned through the outro for more reviews just like this one.